Hello everyone and welcome to this video. My name is Miss Huda and I teach Java programming. Today I'm going to show you how to create your very first Java class. So here I have a project called Java application 2 and I have a package. So I right click on that package and I choose new Java class and I will create a student class. So I write student with a capital S because normally class names start with a capital letter, and I click finish. So this will create a class for me, public class student, inside the file student.java. So a student in my class has two attributes, a name and a GPA. So I pick the string type for the name and the double type for the GPA. So I will write private string name as an attribute for the name and private double GPA for the attribute GPA. Now I have defined the attributes of my class. It's time to define the methods. So in the methods, the first method I want to write is the constructor without parameter, or it's called the default constructor. So the default constructor has the same name as the class name. It does not have any return type and it does not take any parameters. So I just write public student. Also I use capital letter just like the class name, and I don't give it any parameters. Inside the default constructor, this is called the default constructor. I can use any default value for the name and the GPA. So I can, for example, say name is equal to no name. This is the default. And GPA is equal to, let's for example put it 4.0. So this is what I want to put inside my default constructor. You may want to put, for example, instead of no name, an empty string, or instead of 4.0, 0.0. It's up to you what to put inside your name and GPA if you are writing the default constructors. So this is the default value for name and GPA. Another constructor is called the initialization constructor. Initialization constructor. This constructor does not put just any value inside the attributes. It receives as parameters the initial values and it assigns them to the attributes. So here we say public student and then string, let's call it n, and double, let's call it g. So the initial value for the name is already received inside n, and the initial value of the GPA is already received inside g. So here we just say name equals n and GPA is equal to g. So the name, the initial value for the name is going to take n, and the initial value for GPA is going to take g. So this is for the constructor. Let's try this in a test program. So inside the same package, I will right click and choose Java main class, and I will call it test student without any spaces, capital T, capital S. In the test student, I can create two students. Student, let's call it S1, equal new student. And for S1, I have used the default constructor. So whatever is put in the constructor here, let's put it back as no name and 4.0. So the student S1 will have the name as no name and the GPA of 4. Why? Because I used the default constructor when creating S1. Let's create another student. Student S2 equal new student. In this case, I want to initialize the name to, for example, Ahmed, and the GPA for 3.6. So student S2 has a name and another name and another GPA. His name is Ahmed and his GPA is 3.6. So this will use the initialization constructor, giving it Ahmed inside N and 3.6 inside G. So the name will be Ahmed and the GPA will be 3.6. So can we print these students to make sure that these are the names and the GPA? Yes, you can, using a toString method. So let's write the toString method. It is public string toString. This is the head of the toString method. It should be public, it should return a string, and it should be called toString small t capital S without any spaces, and it does not take any parameters. This method will return a string that represents my student class. So I will say return name colon plus name plus GPA colon plus GPA. So this string will be formed and this will be returned by the toString. Let's print the two students inside the main method. So the first one, system.out, I am printing S1 dot toString, and I am printing system.out.println S2 dot toString. So whatever is going to be returned from the toString is going to be printed by the println method. Let's run this program and see what will happen. Name is no name, GPA is 4.0 for the first student, name is Ahmed, and GPA is 3.6 for S2.